All right, Gabby, how are we feeling about the race?
I'd say I'm pretty fucking nervous. I would say overall I'm pretty nervous for the swim for sure. The swim's the most foreign. I raced in third grade, so I'm pretty experienced, but we're swimming in a reservoir, so like you're not gonna be able to see anything. It's gonna be super murky. I'm just hoping I don't get kicked in the face. I feel like it's not a lot to ask for. I'm really excited. I've never pushed myself on like the stallion, right? Like I've only ever biked indoors. So I'm kind of like curious to see how fast this bike can actually go and how I can sustain it. I'm really excited to see how it goes, and I'm excited to see how this video comes out to see what I say about the race afterwards. Future Gab, you're gonna do great. All right, Brendan, hit me with those pre-race thoughts.
Feeling a mix of nerves and excitement. I would say I feel definitely more nervous for this than any run. To be fair, we only had like 2 weeks heads up for this, so a little bit nervous about the swim. I've only swam 750 meters once before. It was last week. The bike I'm pretty excited for. Also, I just got clipless pedals for my bike, so the first time I fell over when I clipped in for the first time, so hopefully I don't wipe out, but they should definitely work out well for the race. If I get through the swim and the run, or the swim and the bike, I feel like the run should be easy, and hopefully we meet up at some point. If not, definitely we'll be cheering for each other at the end.
Who do you think's gonna win?
I gotta be honest, I'm not being cocky or anything, but I think I'm gonna take this one home.
Alright, good morning guys. So I'm actually feeling for this race pain in my leg, and I really don't like taking Tylenol or Advil, so my alternative is this concoction. I have turmeric and pepper mixed in with some oat milk. This is essentially a natural anti-inflammatory. It's really gross. My goodness, I'm chasing with oat milk. Oat milk.
All right, Gab is prepping our food for the morning oats. It is 4:19. Got up at 4 o'clock, so we should have plenty of time to get ready. Basically, we got to prep the back of the car. We got to get the bikes on. We got to get the bike rack on, and then the bikes, and then we have everything else packed.
All right, how's it look, Inspector Gadget?
Haven't actually driven with these racks on or the bikes on yet, but should be okay.
That's the whip. Rock and roll, baby. Hey!
Got all tatted up, 1024.
Cat, look at this.
Working on the cat.
Gabriella! Go, Gabriella! Woo! Go, Brendan!
We did it.
Been done. We got the medals. I guess we'll talk about our experience in the interview.
All right, Gabby, so your swim time was 22 minutes and 55 seconds. How do we feel about the swim? Overall thoughts?
I expected it to be hard. My biggest worry was the temperature really going into the race. In the swim, the temperature was the least of my worries. A lot of things that you just can't train for, like what it's like to swim in a pack. Just people's arms. Like I think I grabbed someone's butt by accident just in like one of my strokes, and like it totally happened to me too. The hardest part was probably with the sun coming up, seeing the buoy that you're swimming at, and I just couldn't keep my direction. What was super frustrating is I did not start my watch, so I forgot to. I would say I'm really excited to have something to work on. I was like kind of like cocky going in almost, just being like, yeah, like I can do this. How much harder is open water? And the answer is like 1,000 times.
I'd only done a 750 one time before, and it was in a pool. So my goal was really just to like pretty much make it through and get to the other events. I ended up doing backstroke most of the time because just the combination of like swimming in a big pile of people, as well as like waves coming in behind me of like really good swimmers catching up. I think it freaked me out a little bit in the water, so I made it, but I was definitely gassed coming out of the water.
The transition, I feel like in my head, I wanted to be like this badass, like coming out of the water, just like right into a jog. That's what I attempted, I would say. I was so gassed at the swim. I was shocked how tired I was. I tried to keep like a little jog going, but I feel like it was really like an old man shuffle. So overall T1 went pretty smoothly, but I definitely was paranoid getting on the bike. It almost was like, am I forgetting my phone? I'm like, I don't need a phone. Like my mom has my phone and she's watching me. I wasn't super confident what I needed for the bike. I just kind of put on my shoes, said, let's do this. Okay, so tell us how the bike went.
First of all, yeah, transition going into the bike. Really silly thing, but something I didn't really think about was the fact that my feet were gonna be wet going into putting socks and shoes on. But yeah, like getting into the bike, I was super happy first of all to clip in successfully into my new pedals. The bike course was tough. It was like the first 5 miles or so, 5 or 6 miles were like mostly uphill, and then the rest of the 10 or 12, whatever, were downhill. So my like crotch went completely numb, like to start off the bike, I'd say around mile 2. I started to get uncomfortable like sitting on my seat. I kept like kind of changing positions a little bit, and then like my lower back was starting to hurt. I was in like a decent amount of pain on the bike, and that probably translated to like going slower, and that's why I think like Gaby passed me. But yeah, the bike was tough. It was harder than I was expecting.
The worst part was I unintentionally drank a lot of water while swimming. So that was probably the toughest part of the swim that had like lagging effects and even into the run. I feel like I was either 0 or 100. I was either going probably like 8 miles per hour uphill, which feels so slow on a bike. I was just getting passed by so many people. And then on the downhills, like on my watch, it said my top speed was 30 miles per hour. So I think that's what really pulled up my average speed. I was happy to see my average speed, but it was definitely weird because you weren't really maintaining a constant speed very often on the course. That's how hilly it was.
Moving into the run, we've never done a bike that long going into a run. So how did that feel?
I knew I was expecting jelly legs. I was just really excited to get off the bike. I was just feeling a little, mainly uncomfortable in my neck. Probably comes from like a poor bike fitting, and I kind of paid the price for that during the ride. But in the run, I was just happy to just have no other equipment, like not have to worry about my breathing like I did like in the swim, not worry about getting a flat. I'm like, it's just me and this trail, so let's just whip the 5K and call it a day. All right, take us home with the run.
Yeah, going into the run, so mentally I was in an interesting position because probably like 3 to 5 minutes toward like at the end of the bike is when Gaby passed me, and I wasn't feeling great, but I was like, hey, all I need to do is like just get off the bike. I should start to feel better. I can hopefully like catch her on the run. Really quick transition. Really fun to just like slip off your shoes, and with our Ultra Escalante shoes, they're like stretchy material, so I can just slip them right on my feet. But I was like feeling really good at the beginning of the run. I think I was running like an 8-minute pace or something. I have a bad habit of like probably looking at my watch too much. My heart rate was like in like the 180s, 190s, and I've never seen it that high before. I just really wanted to catch Gaby, which I did, but I was pretty out of it. I could feel my legs starting to cramp up, so even though I caught her, like, I pretty much knew that I couldn't keep that pace the entire time. I don't know, I guess maybe I thought like, well, maybe she's not feeling well either. Maybe we'll like slow down together and finish together. I really just wanted to finish together, but that didn't happen. Yeah, so I caught her and we ran together for a little bit. Then eventually I was like, I need to walk. I tried like stretching out my legs because they were starting to hurt. As soon as I picked up my leg, I was just like pain like 10 times more than I was feeling before. But I caught up my breath and ran again to try to catch Gaby, and I got probably within like 15 feet of her, just took like one stride and my legs just gave out on me. So I thought about like yelling out to her, but she seemed to be doing good, so I just let her go. I walked for probably like most of the rest of the way and ran for the last like 0.2 of a mile or something, just to make it look like I was closing it out strong, even though I was really hurting inside.
When you first started, there was like a ridiculous uphill that I thought about walking. It just felt like you were climbing, like almost like you could use your hands. Totally wasn't that steep, but in the moment, that's what it felt like. But yeah, so it was just that first hill, and then it was honestly like pretty flat. Yes, so triathlon virginity taken. It was so exciting. I just kind of felt like, you know, what was really cool was just when we were driving to the venue on the highway, and just seeing other cars with like their bikes on the back, you're like, oh, they're going to the race too. And it was just like, man, like who else is crazy enough to be getting up, you know, at 4 or 5 in the morning, you know, rack up their bikes and go exhaust themselves. So to be around a community of people who kind of just like understand that sort of like discipline, motivation, and how it's all worth it at the finish line was just awesome to be around. I feel like I've already been bitten by the race endurance bug. I'm totally ready to sign up for the next one, no doubt.
Now I kind of see what it's all about. I mean, I've only done 2 running races before, but I thought this was a lot more fun than those. Definitely looking forward to doing more.
So in the next one, are you and Gab gonna do it together?
I don't know, I guess to be determined. Yeah, Gab kicked ass. I was hurting a lot. I think it would be more enjoyable to do together, especially for longer races. When you get to more 3 or more hours, it definitely helps to have someone to talk to and someone by your side.
Pinky promise.
Pinky promise.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we survived. We made it. So stay tuned for the next adventure, and Gab and Brendan, we'll catch you next time.